Camera rolling.
Mark it.
Scene 1, Alpha, take 1.
Action.
B.C. Blunt.
As a young man, I was thrown into a strange environment, that is in England, in the 60s, at the height of racism. And the only thing that really kept me sane was music. It strengthened my mind, strengthened my appreciation of myself, because the kind of music that I listened to were, right from home, high life, then when I went abroad, jazz and blues. It strengthened my mind and was a source of inspiration. And I think music has always been my source of inspiration.
Many years ago, my late younger brother Akpokago and I had just conceptualized an idea to make a documentary about our father's journey as a journalist, a tale that had happened long before we were born. The pre-production took me to Warri, where I watched my old man Sizakago with excitement as he opened a bag filled with old photographs, many of which I had never seen before. As we perused the photograph, I spotted the familiar face of a man with dark glasses standing close to my dad. I mentioned, "This looks like Tam Fiofori." And my dad responded almost immediately, "Yes, of course, that's my old friend Tam Fiofori. We last met at an event some years back in Calabar, but before then, I hadn't seen him in decades. I only read his articles in the papers." The surprise and excitement on my face as I let out the word, "This is a very small world," made my dad ask, "Do you know him?" I said, "Yes, he's like a mentor to me." He smiled as he asked me, "How did you meet Tam Fiofori?" When I was a young student at the National Film Institute, Jos, an agile-looking old man, smartly dressed with a camera hanging on his shoulder, walked into the classroom. He was introduced as Mr. Tam Fiofori, a veteran documentary filmmaker and photographer from Lagos. He said, "I heard you guys have been used to making short fiction narrative films in your past workshops. But this time, we'll be doing something different. We will be making spontaneous documentaries." His process was completely different and memorable. He was very blunt and straightforward with his words and had zero tolerance for commonplace things, which makes him often quick to express his thoughts and air his mind and feeling about anything that doesn't sit well with him. He was also a fun-loving guy, very friendly, very active and interactive. And during that period, I could tell you for a fact that most of the ladies in my class must have fallen in love with him. Yes, he had that charisma, laced with a soothing and sharp intelligence that would make you marvel. About 2 weeks after he left for Lagos, he wrote and published an article titled "Next Generation Filmmakers." And he mentioned a couple of names of students he thought would make an impact in the film industry. And behold, my name was on that list.
Hello, Bishop. You're very welcome.
How are you doing, sir?
Not bad. Do come in.
Yes, sir.
To your left.
Oh, thank you.
Many years had passed. I was now a filmmaker residing in Lagos. I had the idea to make a documentary on veteran artists, actors, cinematographers, directors, etc., and the name Tam Fiofori came to mind again. I visited him at his apartment on different occasions, and all this while, even though I did not move forward with the group documentary idea, I still reminded Uncle Tam that I would love to make a documentary about him, as his story would inspire generations.
And I told my cameraman, it has to be guerrilla filmmaking. Put your camera in there. The Pope is saying Mass. We must have the Pope saying Mass. I don't want to go back and say I miss the Pope saying Mass. And I told him, I said, be bold. Because, you know, in Nigerian style at that time, so much security, they had people with koboko and all that. I said, put the camera there. I used to pinch him and push him. I said, let them flog you in koboko. The whole world will see it. But when they see that you are bold enough, you want that photograph, they will respect your hunger.
One fateful day, he had invited me to the then Ayetoro headquarters, where Funcho Ogundikwe and the Ayetoro band did their rehearsals. The atmosphere was nostalgic, laced with great music, and I can say my deep love for live African sound and music started during my interaction and association with Uncle Tam. Cited in one of my yet-to-be-released articles titled Conjurers of Music, I quoted Uncle Tam from an important advice he gave to me one evening during a conversation as we drove down the Marina Bridge. He said, as a filmmaker, you should have close friends who are singers and players of instruments. They will elevate your work to a height you can ever imagine. As we sat watching the band play, he said, I will allow you to make a film on me because of your humanity. That saw me visiting and hanging out with him regularly, attending events and festivals where his documentaries were being screened.
Thank you very much for coming.
I had so many memorable memories and adventures with Uncle Tam. On one occasion, we went to chill at a neighborhood bar in Surulere. After he poured the beer into the glass, he paused and called my attention to the bottle and the glass and asked, "What do you notice?" I looked for a minute without understanding what he meant, and then he said, "How many times do you pour beer into a glass and both the content of the bottle and the glass match the same level?" Now I got the gist and we laughed. He said, "What are you waiting for? Bring out your phone and take a picture." I cherish every moment and encounter I had with Uncle Tam, and I found myself very privileged and lucky to have had such great access to him.
These are the negatives from Helsinki. Now this particular one, see this?
Okay.
This second one, see it? See this second one?
Yeah, the headshot.
Yes. Now let me show you the final proof. I told you that this.
I spent some time in his house one evening where he walked me through some photographs he had taken at the World Athletics Championships in Helsinki decades ago. He said to me, "Go into my room and you will see a brown leather bag beside the bed. Bring it for me." He opened the bag and brought out a brand new jacket he had received as a souvenir from Kodak.
Wow, these were jackets given to every accredited photographer at the World Athletics Championships in Helsinki.
That was about over 35 years ago.
1983, 36 years ago.
Untouched. Did you ever wear this?
I don't think I wore it. I didn't wear it in Helsinki.
He gave it to me and said, "That's a gift for you." Before I left that evening, he asked me to help him put some eye drop in his eyes. And as I applied the eye drop, he held my hand. And for the first time, I realized Uncle Tam was truly frail. But you could never tell, because when you interacted with him, you could realize that his mind is still as strong and sharp as that of a teenager. His passing is not a sad ending to me. It is rather a celebration of a life very, very well spent.
And toast to Tam Fiofori.
The little I know about Uncle Tam, I can tell you that he lived his life just exactly the way he wanted it. He lived his life on his own terms and conditions, no matter the pressure from anybody. He was a man of great integrity, and he never traded that, not even for a bag of gold.
Imagination is a magic carpet upon which we may soar to different lands and climes. If we came from nowhere here, why can't we go somewhere there? If we came from nowhere here, why can't we go somewhere there?